Hey everybody, it's Moonbo here, and welcome back to some of that endless scrap mechanic. In today's video, we are going to be checking out a few things. We are going to start this episode off by checking out this sailboat right here behind me. This was something that I made during a stream. It was a lot of fun, and I would love to hear from you. Were you there during the stream? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to see what you thought of that. And then we're going to be moving on to something that is really very unique, and it is, if you can't see it here, you can see the water right there. It is slowly going up and down, and that is a tide generator that was created by Con Gaming. We are going to be checking that out and seeing just how it's implemented in this world. And then we're going to move on to this really cool little oasis kind of island that I've started. I'd love to get your feedback on this one. There is so much possibilities with all of the mods. So let's get right into this sailboat, shall we? Alright, so here we go with the sailboat. This is absolutely fantastic. I really love this build. I had so much fun making it during the stream. I got so much great feedback from you guys, and I think we ended up with something absolutely fantastic. So you can see here I made this little bit of a pier that attaches itself to the island. I'll explain how the island works in a moment. So we can actually just kind of walk straight onto the little sailboat here, onto the front, and we can also walk up here into the back. This is a switch that is not mounted to the seat, so you always have to remember to turn this switch off before you leave, because this switch here will actually push the boat up against the pier, so that way it doesn't float away. It's very water-like, actually, especially when you have that tide generator going. Alright, so you can see we can actually just kind of hop in here, and you can see a few things. There's not too much going on. A lot of the modded thrusters, of course, so it's all connected to a whole bunch of sensors and some logic here, so that way we can stay afloat. But we might as well actually just take this thing for a little bit of a spin, and then we'll come back and check out how the water works. Alright, so there we go. We have turned off the thruster that pushes us up against the pier, and now we are able to just press the 5 key here, and we can float away. There we go. It's funny because it even looks like we got swept up by the current there. There was like a bit of a tidal current. It's really cool the way the sensors are working with this one. So as you can see, you can press A and D and we will easily turn ourselves left and right like so. I've added a tiller on the back here so you can actually see it's going side to side with the same direction of the boat. And if we press W, then we will just start to kind of move forward. Now, I find the best usage of this one, of course, is to not go too fast. It is a sailboat after all, and we're not racing anybody here. This is just kind of like a casual pacing sailboat. I'm thinking I might add a button that will give it some permanent forward thrust so you can actually get out of your seat and continue traveling across the water here. Now, we are definitely in the middle of nowhere, so this is just a flat map that has the water mod from the beta pack. It's really cool. Yeah, and I mean, it gives a really neat effect. So we can actually see from way back here, this is a pretty decent view of the little island up there. So let's make our way back to it though. So it's really simple. I'm just really surprised that this sailboat is as stable as it is, because if you just look at how tall it is, it's just unexpected. I don't know why it's so stable. I was expecting it to just fall everywhere. Alright, so the 5 key was to reverse. Now we can actually press the 3 and 4 key. But before we do that, it's usually best to just kind of let the sailboat settle back out again. There we go. And we can press 3 like so, and that will actually push you to the left a little bit like this. So it's a pretty neat feature. It definitely makes it a lot easier to get in here. Because as you can see, guys, I did have to tear away some of that sandbar in the front, and that was because the sensors were picking up the sand there. As you can see, it's actually happening right now. It can be dangerous. We are going to try and just, I guess, slam right in. Okay, there we go. This is exactly how I planned for this to happen. I'm going to show you how it's supposed to be done. Alright, this is actually a good opportunity for me to be able to just show you what it's like underwater here. So we can actually just jump up onto the boat and get into this pretty cool little modded steering wheel here. And then all you need to do is press 1 and 2, and that'll activate all of your thrusters for hovering. And it'll usually bounce up pretty high, but once it goes right back down like this, you can see it's just touching the water now. And that's probably because the tide might be out. But we can actually just kind of push our way forward. Now, this is ideal. You want to come straight at it like this. You don't want to be close to the sides because you want to really just get right under the pier here. So we'll actually kind of press the sand right there, and now we can actually just focus on pushing the boat to the right, like so. There we go. And we'll just kind of push it forward a little bit more. And once we are in position like that, this is where that switch here comes in handy. So you press that, and now it's getting pushed up against the pier. So that is a really neat sailboat. So much fun to kind of cruise around in, take a casual stroll in the water. So let's move on to the next really cool thing in this build, and that is the tide generator, which I have mounted underneath this island. Alright, so here we are actually underneath the island now, and this is Con Gaming's amazing, let me tell you, it is amazing, this tide generator. So here you can see there is a whole bunch of logic and timers here. I am not going to go in depth with this one. I really suggest you guys go check out his channel. There'll be a link in the description, and you will get a much better perspective on what is going on here. But I can explain it as far as like my own general knowledge goes. So here we can actually just kind of reset it, I think, like this. And there we go. So now it is generating a tide. So right now the tide is coming in, so the water goes all the way up. And there are some limit sensors here, and that is pretty much what controls the sequence going back and forth. So now this is where the tide is generated. So it's counting down right now. I made it a little bit faster so that way we could see it actually happen. But it's going to count out about, I think this is about 30 seconds here, and then it'll skip through all of these ones. So you can actually make it a very long one. I think this is probably like, what, 15 minutes here maybe? And then you can actually make it really short, like this one. So right now it's going to switch back and forth between the two tides every about 30 seconds. So as you can see, we can go in here, and we can actually adjust the timers for each one. So that's absolutely amazing. So I use the water mod here, which is part of the beta mod pack, so it's up on that top block right there, and it's just going to keep on bobbing up and down because it does have two sequences. So the first one being this bearing right here. So you can see that this little portion here is just kind of like the natural ebb and flow of the water, so it's going up and down very steadily. And then this arm section right here is actually where the tide will generate. So every time that timer goes through its entire sequence, there you go, you can see it'll slowly go back down again, and it'll activate that sensor, which will tell it to stop, and voila, we have a tide generator. So I commend Con Gaming for such an amazing creation, really cool, and thank you so much for letting me use it in this world. So we are going to go up on top of the sand here. I just have a chair, and we are going to just get a little bit of a better look at what this water is doing exactly, and it's kind of nice over here. So you can see that the tide is actually coming in now. So the tide, there we go. Tide is in, and it's just going to kind of bob around. So I mean, normally you would probably want to set this to a few minutes at least to give you maybe like a bit of a natural feel between the two tides. But in this case, for the sake of just showing you guys, I made it much faster. So we'll get a bit of an idea here when the tide goes back out. There we go. So now the tide is going back out, and it looks flawless. I love it. It's literally like the water is going up and filling in there and coming back out again. It's just so cool, and it makes this build just that much more in-depth. So the sailboat with the tide generator and this pier right here is probably one of my favorite things ever. But now let's move on to something really cool, and it's going to be this really neat kind of private island. Alright, so the private island is really neat. You can see obviously that I do have a beachfront right here. So what's happening on the beachfront is this is actually just mounted to a bearing right in the corner here, as you can see, and this one slopes all the way up. So all I did was make it slope up, and then it has a support underneath it, and then this portion right here is actually totally separate, and I can show you guys actually, you can put your lift down on it. So that was pretty key, obviously, was to have this slope come up here, and then transition to a totally solid flat piece. I'm using the Ike vegetation as well as the Ike terrain, like block mod pieces. He did an amazing job creating all of the wildlife that you can find in the game, and he's also added some of these amazing palm trees. So it's a great source of inspiration, all of these amazing mods. I highly suggest you guys check these mods out. They really do change the game. And people would probably wonder, why didn't I make this in like a normal terrain world and in a flat world? And I think it's just because I get this total customization now, because you can actually see that this island is absolutely like so nifty. You can actually walk around these little paths here. I made a palm tree kind of forest in the back here, and you can see there's just even more pathways. You can kind of get lost, and I do want to make this much bigger, and that's where you guys come in. I would love to get your feedback. What kind of portions of an island would you love to see? Because obviously, guys, look at all this room here. I have so much room back here. It's endless scrap mechanic, guys. This is what this one's gonna be, and I'm loving this one. So here you can see, though, I have like a little bit of an island hut. It's nothing complicated. I tried to make a pretty nifty looking like torch right here on the front. We have a step that we can walk into, and I decided to kind of get a little different with it and put some of the vegetation inside the hut, and I think that was really cool, especially right here. You can see that this divides the bed from the front entrance. I added a sink here, which you can actually see. I can't jump through that window, but I can actually walk around here, and you can see I kind of added a little bit of detail by putting a pipe right there. And this is actually one of those modded beds, so there we go. We can actually... Okay, we can't go first person, but you can see that we are absolutely relaxing in this tropical island. I'm loving it, guys. This is a really cool build. Alright, guys, so just to quickly summarize this video, we have this really cool tropical island. I really want to get your feedback. What kind of little portions of this island would you like to see? You know, I'm thinking there's so many different things that we could do. So let me know down in the comments, of course. And make sure you guys go over to Con Gaming's channel and check it out. Let them know that the tide generator is really cool, and this world is going to be made so good because of it. And of course, as well, Ike, thank you so much for the amazing mods. These trees look so good. This is going to be one heck of a build, guys, and I'm really excited to get going with it. So how about we... Oh, wait, no. Let's, don't forget when I press that button there. There we go. Alright, so we're going to go out to sea, guys. I'm really excited to hear your feedback. Ooh, get swept up in the water here. I'm sinking. Uh-oh. Alright, no, we're good. This sailboat, guys, it's absolutely insane. Where was I? That's right. So there we go, guys. That is the build so far. I'm really excited to get going with it. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and to everybody who has subscribed for Endless Scrap Mechanic, and to all of those who enjoy the live streams every Saturday. So if you enjoyed the video, enjoyed this build, want to see some more of it, then let me know by hitting that like button, and of course leaving a comment down below. And if you haven't already subscribed for Endless Scrap Mechanic, you really might as well do that, because that is what is going on in this channel, and I think we are ready to keep on going. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I will be seeing you in the next one, so bye for now.